What's the biggest mistake new business owners make when forming an LLC? Not following a proper checklist. Today, I'll share a step-by-step guide that'll have your LLC up and running smoothly, protecting your personal assets from day one. Now, if you don't set up your LLC correctly, you could be leaving your personal assets exposed to business liabilities. That means your house, car, and savings could be at risk if something goes wrong with your business. And that's pretty scary, right? But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to walk you through each step of creating an LLC. We'll cover everything from choosing a name to getting your EIN. And hey, I'll even share with you a free simple checklist to help you out. So if you're ready to protect your assets and set up your LLC the right way, let's get started. All right, let's start with the basics. You've probably heard the term LLC thrown around, but do you really know what it means for your business? Well, understanding this could be the key to protecting your personal assets and potentially lowering your tax burden. Let's break it down. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. It's a popular business structure that offers some pretty sweet benefits for entrepreneurs. The two main advantages are limited liability protection and pass-through taxation. Now, I know these terms might sound a bit intimidating, but stick with me because they're actually really straightforward. Let's start with limited liability protection. This is the big one that attracts most business owners to LLCs. Essentially, it creates a separation between your personal assets and your business liabilities. Think of it like a protective shield for your personal stuff, your house, car, savings, you name it. If your business gets sued or ends up in debt, your personal assets are generally off limits to creditors. But here's the thing, and it's a big one. This protection only works if you set up and run your LLC correctly. There's this legal concept called piercing the corporate veil. It sounds fancy, but it basically means that if you don't treat your LLC as a separate entity, a court might decide that your personal assets aren't protected after all. So, how do you avoid this? Well, one of the biggest no-nos is mixing personal and business finances. You see, if you're using your personal bank account for business transactions, that's a big red flag. It's like telling the court, hey, my business and I are the same thing. And trust me, that's not what you want. Now, let's talk about the other big benefit of an LLC, pass-through taxation. This is where things get a bit more interesting from a financial perspective. Now, with an LLC, the business itself doesn't pay taxes on its income. Instead, the profits pass through to the owner, who report their share on their own personal tax returns. This can be a huge advantage compared to some other business structures. It means you avoid the double taxation that corporations often face, where the business pays taxes on its profits and then the owners pay taxes again when they receive dividends. With an LLC, you're potentially looking at a lower overall tax burden. But remember, tax laws can be complex and they change pretty frequently. That's why it's always a good idea to consult with a tax professional who can give you advice tailored to your specific situation. Now, you might be wondering, is an LLC right for my business? Well, that depends on a lot of factors. But if you're looking for personal asset protection and potential tax benefits, it's definitely worth considering. Just keep in mind that setting it up correctly is super crucial. If you cut corners or make mistakes in the process, you could end up losing these benefits you were counting on. Now, let's dive into the checklist for starting your own LLC. This checklist is what we'll be focusing on for the rest of this video. The first thing you need to do is grab this checklist for yourself. It's available to you for free on my website, llcblueprint.com, and the link to it is down in the description of this video. Okay, so now that you're considering an LLC, let's talk about something that trips up a lot of new entrepreneurs. Did you know that in some states, over 50% of business name applications get rejected? And there's a secret to choosing a name that won't just pass the tests, but also set your business up for success. Now, when it comes to naming your LLC, it's not just about creativity. It's also about legality. You might think you've come up with a perfect name, but if it's too similar to an existing business, you could be setting yourself up for trouble. Here's the deal. Your LLC name needs to be unique in your state. It can't be identical to another LLC's name. And this isn't just a formality. It's crucial for avoiding legal issues and trademark infringements down the line. So how do you make sure your brilliant business name idea isn't already taken? Well, most states have a business entity directory where you can search existing LLC names. It's like a Google search, but for business names in your state. Take a few minutes to check. It could save you a lot of headaches later. Now, if you found the perfect name and it's available, you might want to lock it down right away. Good news, in most states, you can actually register your LLC name ahead of time. It's kind of like reserving a domain name. This way, you can make sure no one else snags your name while you're getting everything else in order. But what if you're struggling to come up with a name in the first place? Don't stress too much about finding the perfect name. Sometimes a simple name can still build a strong brand identity. You could use tools like AI or good old-fashioned brainstorming sessions to generate ideas. Remember, your brand can evolve over time, so focus on finding something unique and memorable to start with. Here's a little insider tip. You don't have to limit yourself to just one name. You can establish a doing business as DBA name under your LLC. This means your official LLC name could be something simple like Bistro Beans LLC, but your brand name, the one customers actually see, could be Sip and Savor Cafe. This gives you more flexibility with your branding while keeping everything else legally sound. So don't stress about it too much. One common mistake people make is forgetting to check if their chosen name infringes on existing trademarks. A quick Google search can help you avoid this potential legal minefield. It's a simple step that could save you from a world of trouble later on. Remember, your LLC name is more than just a label. It's the foundation of your business identity. It's what customers will remember, what you'll put on all your official documents, and potentially what you'll build your entire brand around. So take the time to choose wisely. All right, so you've got your perfect LLC name. Good start. But what if I told you the next step could be completed in less time than it takes to brew your morning coffee? There's a key piece of paperwork that's crucial for your LLC, and it's not as daunting as you might think. I'm talking about the Articles of Organization, the official document that brings your LLC to life. Now, don't let that fancy name scare you off, okay? The Articles of Organization are basically your LLC's birth certificate. You can think about it like that. They tell the state who you are, what your business is about, and how you're going to run things. It's the document that makes your LLC real in the eyes of the law. So let's break down what you need to include in your Articles of Organization. First up, you'll need your LLC name, the one you just spent all that time choosing. Next, you'll need your business address. This is where official mail will be sent, so make sure it's somewhere you can reliably receive mail. Then there's the registered agent. This is a person or company that agrees to accept legal papers on behalf of your LLC. We'll dive deeper into this in the next section, but for now, just know you need to include their name and address. You'll also need to specify your management structure. Are you going to manage the LLC yourself, or will you have designated managers? This might seem like a small detail, but it's important for legal and tax purposes. Now, here's something that trips up a lot of new business owners: the filing fee. It varies by state, and it can be a bit of a shock if you're not prepared. For example, in Alabama, the filing fee is $200. That's not exactly pocket change, so make sure you factor this into your startup costs. But here's the good news. Filing your Articles of Organization is usually pretty straightforward. Many states have online systems that walk you through the process step by step. It's like filing out an online form for anything else, just with a bit more importance attached to it. And here's a pro tip. Gather all your information before you start the filing process. Have your LLC name, address, registered agent details, and payment method ready to go. This way, you can zip through the form without any hangups. Trust me, it makes the whole process a lot smoother. Now, you might be wondering, do I need a lawyer for this? Well, while it's always a good idea to consult with a legal professional, especially if you have complex business arrangements, many people successfully file their Articles of Organization on their own. The forms are designed to be user-friendly, and as long as you have all your information ready, you should be able to handle it. Now, with that being said, if you are feeling overwhelmed or just want some extra peace of mind, there are online legal services that can help guide you through the process. They can be a great middle ground between doing it all yourself and hiring a lawyer. Remember, the articles of organization are more than just a formality. They're the foundation of your LLC. Getting them right means starting your business on a solid legal footing. And once they're filled and approved, you'll have the official go-ahead to start operating as an LLC. So you filed your articles of organization and your LLC is officially born. Now, there's one key player you need on your team. Ever wondered who handles those important legal documents when you're busy running around your business? Well, let's talk about your LLC's best friend, the registered agent. A registered agent is like your LLC's legal point person. They're the ones who receive official government correspondence and legal documents on behalf of your business. Now, you might be thinking, can't I just do this myself? Well, sure, you could, but there are some good reasons why many business owners choose to use a third-party service instead. First off, using a registered agent service can help protect your privacy. When you form an LLC, certain information becomes public record. If you're your own registered agent, that means your personal address could be out there for anyone to see. But if you use a service, it's their address that's on record, not yours. And privacy isn't the only benefit. A good registered agent service can be a real lifesaver when it comes to staying compliant with state regulations. They're experts in this stuff, so they can help make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. This is especially important because missing a critical legal deadline can have serious consequences for your business. Let's say a lawsuit is filed against your LLC. The court sends a notice, but you're on vacation and don't check your mail for a couple of weeks. By the time you get back, you've missed the deadline to respond. That could result in a default judgment against your business. Ouch. But with a registered agent, you've got someone there to receive and promptly forward these important documents, even when you're not available. Now, another important thing to keep in mind is that registered agents need to have a physical address in the state where your LLC is formed. They cannot use a PO box. This can be tricky if you're forming an LLC in a state where you don't live or have an office. That's another situation where using a professional service can be really helpful. And here's something interesting. Many online legal tools and LLC services offer registered agent services for free for the first year when you form your LLC through them. It's like getting a 2-for-1 deal. You get help setting up your LLC and a registered agent to boot. But remember, choosing a registered agent isn't just about finding the cheapest option. You want someone reliable, someone who understands the importance of their role. After all, they're handling crucial legal and tax documents for your business. You need to be able to trust them completely. So you've got your LLC structure and a registered agent to handle official correspondence. But what if I told you there's a simple document that could potentially save you tens of thousands in legal fees later on? It's not required in most states, but skipping it might be one of the biggest mistakes new business owners make. I'm talking about the operating agreements, and it's like a roadmap for your LLC's success. Now, you might be thinking, wait, another document? I thought I was done with paperwork. I get it, but trust me, this one's worth your time. An operating agreement is basically a contract between the members of your LLC that outlines how your business will run. It covers everything from who is responsible for what, to how decisions are made, and even what happens if someone wants to leave the company. Here's the thing. Most states don't actually require you to have an operating agreement. But just because it's not legally required doesn't mean it's not important. Think of it like wearing a seatbelt. It's not always legally required, but it's definitely a smart move that could save you a lot of trouble down the road. So what exactly should you include in your operating agreements? Well, first up, you'll want to clearly define the roles and responsibilities of each member. This might seem obvious now, but trust me, it can get fuzzy as your business grows. By spelling it out up front, you're avoiding potential conflicts later on. Next, you'll want to outline how decisions will be made. Will it be majority vote? Does everyone need to agree? What about big decisions versus day-to-day stuff? Getting this sorted now can prevent a lot of headaches later. Now, another key element is how profits and losses will be distributed. This is especially important if members are contributing different amounts of money or time to the business. You don't want any surprises when it comes time to share the profits. And here's a big one that people often forget: exit strategies. What happens if a member wants to leave the LLC? How will their share be valued? Who can buy them out? This might seem like distant concerns now, but having a clear plan in place can save you from messy disputes down the line. Now, you might be wondering, can't we just figure this stuff as we go along? Sure, you could, but here's the thing. When money is involved, even the best of friends can disagree. An operating agreement acts as an impartial referee. It's there to remind everyone what you all agreed to when heads were cool and everyone was getting along. Plus, having a solid operating agreement in place can actually make your LLC more attractive to potential investors or partners. It shows you're serious about your business and have thought it through the important details. Creating an operating agreement doesn't have to be complicated. There are plenty of templates and online tools available that can guide you through the process. But if your business situation is complex, or if you're just not comfortable doing it yourself, it's worth consulting with a lawyer. Yes, it might cost a bit upfront, but it's a lot cheaper than ending up in court later on. Now that your LLC's internal structure is set, it's time to make things official. But did you know there's a single number that could be the key to your business's credibility and financial future? And it's not your bank account or credit score. It's something most new entrepreneurs overlook until it's too late. I'm talking about your employer identification number, or EIN for short. An EIN is like a social security number for your business. It's a unique identifier assigned by the IRS, and it's crucial for several reasons. First off, it's what you will use for tax purposes. When you file your business taxes or make tax payments, this is the number you will need. But it's not just about taxes. Having an EIN adds a layer of professionalism to your business. Think about it. When you're opening a business bank account, applying for loans, or even setting up accounts with vendors, they're going to ask you for your EIN. It's a quick way for them to verify that you are a legitimate business entity. Plus, using an EIN instead of your personal social security number for business matters helps keep your personal and business finances separate. Remember how important that is for maintaining your liability protection? Getting an EIN is actually pretty straightforward. You can apply online through the IRS website, and in most cases, you'll get your number instantly. It's free, and it's a step you definitely don't want to skip. But here's where things get a bit trickier. An EIN isn't the only official document you need to operate your business legally. Depending on your industry and location, you might need various licenses and permits. This is where a lot of new business owners stumble. You see, the requirements for licenses and permits can vary widely depending on what type of business you're running and where you're located. For example, if you're starting a brewery, you might need different licenses for brewing, distributing, and serving beer. And these could be required at the local, state, and federal levels. The tricky part is that there's no one-stop shop for figuring out what licenses you need. It often requires some digging. A good place to start is with your local town clerk's office. They can usually point you in the right direction for local requirements. For state and federal licenses, you'll need to do some research online or consult with a business attorney. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I really need to bother with all this? Can't I just start my business and figure it out later? Well, operating without the proper licenses and permits can lead to some serious consequences. We're talking about potential fines, legal troubles, and in some cases, even being forced to shut down your business. I've seen it happen. A business owner gets everything set up, thinks they're good to go, and then bam, they get hit with a fine because they were operating without a required license. And it's not just about avoiding trouble. Having all your licenses and permits in order also adds to your business's credibility. It shows customers, partners, and potential investors that you are serious about your business and committed to doing things the right way. Now, I know this might sound overwhelming. Figuring out what licenses you need and how to get them can be a bit of a maze. That's why many online LLC services offer assistance with this process. They can help research what licenses you need and even help you obtain them. It might cost a bit extra, but for many business owners, the peace of mind is worth it. And that's why I want to tell you about a service that can make the whole process a lot easier. It's called Northwest Registered Agents, and they're experts at guiding new business owners through the LLC formation process. And the best part, if you use my link in the description of this video, you can get their services for just $39. So if you're ready to take the next step in your business journey, check out the link to their website in the description of this video. Trust me, having expert support can make all the difference. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.